What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got UFC 314 Volkanovski versus Lopes prediction breakdown here, guys. Before I get started, hit the thumbs up button. Also subscribe to this channel. Also check out my Patreon account for all my face-up prediction and prop plays. You can also donate to my PayPal account, or the links will be down below. Also check out my other channel, Wayne Gitchy, for more health and wellness. If you're into healthy living, because you know your health is your wealth, right? So if you want tips, you know, on exercising and foods to consume, and just an overall healthy lifestyle, you know, check out Wayne Gitchy. I also leave inspirational quotes over there too, and a bunch of other things, right? So you can check that out. The links will be down below. Let's jump into this real quick here, guys. 13 fights in this card, pay-per-view in Miami, Florida, in my backyard right here by the Casania Center. That's pretty close to me. Let's see here. It's a pretty good card, man, from everything that I've broken down and everything, and did my homework. It's got some good matchups on here, man. A lot of veterans in this card, a lot of experienced fighters, versus guys that are, you know, they're not too experienced, but they still have the skill, right? Let's double check that before I start going through this. Make sure nobody fell off, because you know that go already, especially on pay-per-view. 13 fights. Alright, guys, first fight here, we got Nora Cornolle versus Nora Cornolle. We got Nora Cornolle versus Hailey Cowan. Nora here, she will look to strike mostly. Also will look for takedowns from time to time. And grappling actually seems to her, you know, to be more of her strength. She will strike, but it seems like the grappling, you know, seems to be more of her strength there. But she mix it up though, so I would say that she's well-rounded. Kind of have that dog in her. Her opponent here, Hailey, coming off of the Contender Series, I believe, or wasn't a Contender Series. She got her first fight against Hort, which she lost, and she was in a Contender Series against Claudio back in 2022. Hailey here hasn't fought since 2023, and she's more of a gymnast, you know, I guess an All-American. But you know, she's athletic, you know, she can do handstands, flips, and you know, she has a physicality, you know. But you know, there's, you know, when you're talking about fighting, you know, it's totally different compared to gymnasts. You know, you may have some attributes that you can take from your gymnastics, you know, as far as a balance, you know, being in the clinch and not falling down, you know, you can hold your ground and stuff like that. And maybe some, you know, quick twitch muscles, fast twitch muscles here and there. But when you start to get hit in the face and hit to the body and pressure is put on you, it's different kind of game, man. It's like night and day, bro. Not taking into know from her, she's athletic, you know, body is in shape, everything like that, and she has a heart, you know. Like I said, to be a gymnast is not easy, you know. It takes a lot of work, you know, to be a gymnast, especially at that high level like that, you know. Yeah, so you can see with the calisthenics, a lot of that is the calisthenics. You muscle yourself up and hold your handstand and balance and all these things plays a factor. It's not easy, but in this fight here, I'm going to push towards Nora for the win here, guys. And like I said, women fights, it's very risky. So this fight is even, you know. So I say Nora for the win. I said Nora by KO, TKO in that second round, and it's a 50-50, guys. All right. Quick look at the odds here. Try to look at those odds at the same time. They got Nora at 175. Got Hailey at plus 145. I mean... yeah, I mean, I feel Nora is the more well-rounded fighter here. You know, even though with Hailey, again, she's gymnast and, you know, she has attributes to physicality, but it's just when you start to get hit in the face and everything like that, it's a completely different world, right? I would say it's still even, because like I said, with the women fight, it can go either way. You know, even though the other person is supposed to be skilled, but it just happens that way, especially when it goes to judges. Nora by KO, TKO second round, guys. Next fight, we got Tristan Gore versus Marco Chulo. Gore here coming off the tough. He will hunt the submission, man. At least lately, he's been haunting the guillotine chokes. he's actually not really like, you know, like a one-hitter quitter, really. You know, I mean, people keep saying that the guy pack power and everything like that, but he only has 1 by knockout. He has 3 by submission. So from what I see, you know, he hunts the, you know, he hunts the submission now on the feet. You know, he can get hurt. You know, if you catch him with a shot, he can get dazed. He will slow down. You know, that's why he's more pushing more to ground. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, they big him up as a guy that's power, but if he was power, it would be the other way around, 3 by knockout and maybe 1 by submission, but that's not the case. And like I said, when he lets his hands go, yeah, it seems like it's powerful and hit guys, they can probably get dazed, but then when you catch him, you know, he gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of like will slow down, especially with the striking. His opponent here, Marco Tulio, came out the Contender Series as a guy that was in the Contender Series actually twice. You see, when I see guys in the Contender Series twice and they win both times, I mean, that's impressive. You know, he was in the Contender Series 2023, he got a decision and he came back and finished the guy with spinning back kick and punches. When I see that, it shows that he's capable of being consistent with the wins. You know, it's not like he win one and lose one. You know, back to back. You know, or he could have lost both, right? But he won both of them. This guy is aggressive, explosive. Let me see here. He will mix it up. He will let his hands go. He has a little dog in him. Push forward. I believe is Diego Lima camp there. So Charles Oliveira then. You know, this guy's pretty legit, you know, from what I see, and you know, back-to-back wins, you know, in the Contender Series shows that he's consistent and disciplined. I'm liking Marco here, guys. I must say Marco by KO TKO in that second round. All right. Remember, this is pay-per-view card here, guys. And what we say with pay-per-view cards, I always say this all the time when there's a pay-per-view card, there will be some serious robbery and some corruption going on, man. You know, like right before the fight, you know, you know, this guy fell off, his stomach wasn't feeling good, in the back he was throwing up, so now we're down to 12 fights in the card. Yeah, so, but we're going to keep checking up and hopefully it'll be okay. You know, it always happens like that, and or just something else happen, you know, so you got to be aware of that, and also the judging system, and also the referees. So there's a lot to deal with pay-per-view cards, so you got to be very, very careful, okay? It depends on what you're doing with it, okay? So I like Marco. I'm going to say Marco by QOTQ in that second. 50-50, because Gore could still win, but I just feel Marco is just more well-rounded, and yeah, I just feel Marco is more well-rounded, you know, and he will more push like a higher pace. You know, I can see Gore will just look for submission. You know, he may throw his hands here and there, but he doesn't really want to get hit because he knows he gets hurt. You know, next fight we got Sumer Georgian versus Mitch Raposo. Sumer Georgian here gonna have a massive 8-inch reach and a 3-inch of height, which is massive. But this guy here, he's been subbed 6 times, so he has an issue with the ground. But what I see from him against Charles Oliveira, that was pretty impressive. He was scrambling, getting back to his foot. He was even taking down Charles and looking good on the ground. And his defense looks pretty good. So, last time he fought before he fought Charles was 2023. So that year out, you know, he's been working, you know, on you know, on perfecting his ground game there, or a couple of months. But the thing about him is his stand-up. Stand-up is on point, pinpoint accurate, timing nice, foot movements. Let me see here. Yeah, this is overall, you know, striking is, you know, it's definitely on point. It's going to be way on point more than Mitch, right? Very accurate with his shots. Nice in and out movements. His counters are pretty good, you know. Yeah, so this guy here he's a pretty good fighter, but what's actually was his issue was just the takedowns. He was getting taken down a lot, you know, and also getting submitted. But on the foot though, the guy is skilled. 13 by knockout, you know, the guy is skilled on the foot. You know, it kind of has that want to say it looks like a Kyokushin, maybe Taekwondo, maybe. You know, I think. I mean, it looks like that. I mean, for what I see, maybe some Sanshou, maybe. You know, it's a mixture, maybe some Kung Fu mixed in kind of way. You know, but I mean, his technique is pretty good though. His opponent here, Mitch, though. Mitch is coming off the tough and also the Contender Series, which he lost in the Contender Series against Jake Ali, who is no more in the UFC. Lost against Andre Lima by a split. Then he was on the Ultimate Fighter 29. He lost against Ludovic. So this I like. Remember I told you with guys that go on the shows and they win back to back. That's impressive. This guy is losing on the shows. So I mean, it happens. You know, you lose, you win, but it just doesn't look that good, right? This guy here will mix it up. You know what I'm saying? He will look like he want to wrestle, which wrestling is base, but he doesn't grind like that though. He doesn't chain wrestle like that, right? He doesn't push, and he gets flat-footed. And like I said, he doesn't shoot as much, and he's just there to get hit, man. I feel this is a fight for Sumo Georgian to win, man. It's like fits him for win, especially the height and reach advantage, especially the reach. You know, I mean, Sumo Georgian already a good corner striker. Doesn't even have to go into the pocket. He can stay on the outside and pop, get his timing right, and then get the position. You know, and bam, and just let off straight in the center. He doesn't have to leave him moving too close. You know, you can just stay straight on the outside and just do what he do. Of course, Mitch is going to try to shoot and grind, but from what I see, he wrestles, but he doesn't grind and shoot like that, right? So I'm going to go with Sumo Georgian. I'm going to say Sumo Georgian by decision, but the fact that Sumo Georgian can get submitted, you know what I mean, that's something that you got to be careful with. Even though Mitch got 3 by submission, it's always a possibility that Mitch could come here and just rear naked choke him or whatever his favorite, a rear naked choke. So it's possible. So this fight is an even fight for me. It's a 50-50. But I like Sumo Georgian by decision. And like I said, a guy that's been submitted 6 times mean that he can get submitted a 7th time. But it all depends on who he's matching up with. And the matchup seems it fits more Sumo Georgian to win. You know, in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong, right? Sumo Georgian at 200 and something, I disagree with that. Because Mitch can wrestle and he will look for takedowns. I just don't see him shooting like that, but he does have that in his back pocket because that's his base. Sumo Georgian at 200, you gotta be careful with that, man. You gotta be careful. Again, it all depends on the matchup, and I don't feel Mitch is at that level. This is the next thing to it, all based on the experience. I just feel Sumo Georgian is just a little more experienced too. So that's the reason why I'm going for Sumo Georgian. Alright, by decision, guys. Next fight here, guys. We got Cedric Dumas versus Michał Oleksiejczuk. Dumas are gonna have a 5-inch reach, striking base, but you will look for takedowns, which I saw in his last fight here against Denis Tulio. Slow down in the fight though, usually in the 2nd, 3rd round, and he just becomes low volume, and just will look to tie up and wrestle. The thing about this fight, he's fighting Michał, right? And Michał is very experienced, man. You know, looking at Dumas coming up the Contender Series, I don't feel Dumas is on the same level as Michał. I feel there's like levels to the game, and Michał is on obviously a more experienced level here. And he's been training with the Fighting Nerds, which the Fighting Nerds are been booming right now. The camp is pushing out some good fighters, some good martial artists with top level skills and movements and precision and striking. So the gym is booming, you know. With Michał, he packed power, pretty much put your lights out in that first round. And that's what he's known for, finishing the fight real quick in that first round, right? Like I said, there's levels to the game here. And I just don't feel like Dumas is on the level of Michał. I mean, that's just, and I could say my opinion, but that's a fact, because you can even research it yourself. You know what I mean? So, we got Michał here. He has 14 by knockout. KO TKO, right? Been knocked out 1 time. He can be submitted. But Dumas can look for submissions, but like I said, there's just a level, man. There's just experience level here, and I just feel like Michał should win this fight, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If Dumas win this fight, I'll be kind of surprised. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like Michał, I've seen it, you know, fight tough competition, you know, loss. Some of them in a kind of way, well, the losses he have are like legit losses, because usually it's either he finish you or you finish him. I mean, that's pretty much, he's been submitted 6 times, so I'm liking Michał here. I'm gonna say Michał by KO TQ in the first round, guys. What's the odds on that one? They got Michał at 200. We got Dumas at plus something. Man, it's not too high, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, I won't complain about it, you know, because I do feel like Michał is the more experienced and the more skilled fighter here, man. I feel Dumas is, you know, is still learning, and I know, and is still trying to get better with his skill set, but he's not at that level. You know what I'm saying? But anything could happen though. You throw a punch and kick and catch him, or even submit him as possible, which Michał been submitted 6 times. So I'm gonna go with Michał, like I said, KO TQ in our first round, guys. All right. Next fight here, guys. We got Darren Elkins versus Julian Erosa. This is a pretty good matchup. Darren Elkins damage versus Juicy J. Elkins here is a veteran, crafty guys. I mean, both guys are veterans. Pretty much kind of even on the wins and losses, kind of. Yeah. Pretty much identical. But Elkins here is crafty, you know, takes a lot of damage. A lot. And has been getting a lot slower, though, and more hittable lately. And can get subbed and knocked out. But with Elkins, though, he will keep coming, though, man. Like, he won't give up. You keep pushing, just eat a bunch of shots, and he cuts easily. A lot of scar tissue, bleeds easily, man. Been knocked out 4 times, submitted 1 time, but this guy, even though it takes a lot of damage, is still durable. He's gonna keep coming forward. Juicy J, on the other hand, Juicy J been knocked out like 7 times, but in a kind of way, he's still durable in a kind of way, because he will still come forward and eat shots without going out. But with Juicy J, he keeps improving though. Every fight I see him get better and better, and even with his defense, he's getting a little better. He will look for the submissions though, just like Darren Elkins. But I feel like Julian Erosa's submissions are nasty. Like once he locks them in, he got it, and he's pinpoint with it, especially the guillotine choke. So both guys are kind of similar in a way, but Juicy J's striking is way better than Elkins. I just feel with Elkins, he just walks towards you. He has 2 left feet and just throws his hands and his face is just there to get hit. I feel Juicy J has a little better boxing, a little better kickboxing, you know. And then the ground game, I feel Juicy J is better on the ground, man, especially with the submissions, dude. So I'm liking Juicy J here. Nothing, you know, taking anything away from Elkins. Elkins is still a good fighter, you know. He's a super veteran, as well as Juicy J is a super veteran as well. But I'm gonna go with Juicy J. I'm gonna say Juicy J by submission, guys, in that first round. Quick look at the odds there. Juicy J. 300 and something. Damn, so they're high on Juicy J. Can Elkins win? The only way I see Elkins winning, if Elkins just put a high ass pace on him, which he can, and just eats a bunch of shots and just keep coming forward and getting takedowns. Like a more grindy fight. But while doing that, I can see Juicy J. I can see Juicy J possibly getting a sub on him, and that's where I see him getting the sub, because Elkins will push a high pace. Striking wise, I don't see Elkins hurting him in the striking. It'll be more just, you know, off of a high pace, you know, just pushing a high pace throughout those 3 rounds, getting takedowns and grindy. Just make the fight grindy and dirty, because that's what Elkins does. But you do that with Juicy J. Juicy J get a submission from anywhere, especially the guillotine, you know. So in any position he can get a submission in. So that's why I got him by submission. So odds kind of high on him, but that's the only way I see Elkins winning. But just, you know, Julian Erosa is just very, very experienced. You know what I'm saying? and very well rounded as well. So yeah, so submission first round by Juicy J. Next fight here, guys, we got Chase Hooper versus Jim Miller. Man, they're building on the veterans, bro. These pay-per-view cards have the veterans in it, the veterans, but these veterans are like top-level veterans, dude. Like, you see, like Darren Elkins, you can't sleep on him. I have Julian Erosa, but that doesn't mean Darren Elkins can come in. Like I said, we put a high pace, and Julian just can't get the submission, and then he just getting ground and pounded and beaten up on. Very possible, man. And Elkins is you know, this is a guy that's infamous for doing that, for grinding like a high pace, a high cardio fight, and he's known for that. But it's just so much you can put out in all your fights. You know, you're consistently taking hits and damage through your fights. You know, in the other fights, you're gonna start to slow down, right? Chase Hooper and Jim Miller. This fight here, I'm not too sure about this one. Chase Hooper has been improving. And you can see with his physique and his body, he's kind of coming into his own. You know, he's another 5 inch of height here and a 3 inch of reach, which is massive. You know, this is a guy that wants his submissions, and similar to Juicy J, he's pretty good with the ground, man. Very, very good with scrambling and putting off the submission on you. His striking, though, has been getting better with it. He's more, you know, implementing more the jab and setting up the jab. So he's kind of taking him time with it. But it's not his strength, though. But he's getting better at it, though. But his scrambles are good, though. And that's the thing. He's scrambling you and keep a high pace on the ground. And his submissions are nasty. Miller, on the other hand, though, man, you can't sleep on Miller, dude. Jim Miller, man, you can't sleep on him. This is a guy that will surprise you all the time. Doesn't matter who he's fighting, he will surprise. That is why his record look like that. He hasn't been really losing much. You know what I mean? So this is a guy that will surprise you, bro. Super veteran, been in there for a minute. I mean, I'm not gonna go through it, but he's been in there for a long time, bro. For a long time, right? Been UFC. If you just say UFC, what, from 2008. But been competing since 2005. I mean, this guy been there for a minute, man. His record says it, bro. So, you know, Hooper is fighting a very, very experienced guy at 30, 38, and 18. Do not make the record full, the 18 losses, but I mean, this guy, super veteran, good on the ground. His striking, in my opinion, is better than Hooper's. Let me see here. He's crafty, slick. You know, he will also jump for the neck, because that's his submission too. So this guy is all around good, man. And I feel Jim Miller is still in there, bro. I'm going to push for Hooper, but this is maybe the only fight on the card that I'm not sure about, because I do feel like Jim Miller can win this fight. I do believe that, man. I'm going to go with Hooper, though, because what I see from Hooper, he has been improving. You know, especially from his last couple of fights, I see him been improving, even against strikers like Makhachev. You know, Clay Guida was a super veteran also. You know what I'm saying? But comparing Miller to Clay Guida, I feel Clay Guida has declined a lot. There's no comparison. I think Jim Miller is still actually in there. He can still compete with the best, which he is. Clay Guida, on the other hand, I feel like he's done, bro. He's done. And you can tell it by the record, right? But I'm going to go Hooper. I'm going to say Hooper by decision. But this one, I'm not confident at all, man. Zero confidence, because I do feel that Miller can win. But I'm just going to slide Hooper a little bit here. And let's see what happens. So Hooper by decision, guys. I'm not confident. Next fight here, we got Werner Jandiroba versus Yan. Let's say Yan, yeah. Xiaonan Yan, I guess that's what I pronounce it. Alright, I was going to say Exan. Xiaonan Yan. Werner here. Werner is more known for BJJ. You know, BJJ black belt. Striking kind of is still suspect with the striking. He will let the hands go, the kicks go, but she want to take you down. You know, look for the ground and pound, kind of beat you up on the ground, and look for the submissions. And she's nasty with the submissions. She's nasty with the ground, man. Against Yan, though, Yan is going to be the way better striker and the way better movement, closing distance, time, and position with the striking. I believe she has a Taekwondo background, I want to say, or it could be, is it Taekwondo? think she had a taekwondo background. Or Sando. So her striking is very, very high level, but she can get taken down though, and that's the thing in this fight. Also, she can get submitted also, and that's the thing in this fight. She's been submitted one time though. Verna will look for the submission, and Verna will look to hug on you. This is 14 by submissions by Verna. Verna never been finished, so she's gonna push a high pace in this fight. There's only 3 rounds. She's gonna push a high pace to get those takedowns. What I see from Yan though, I feel like Yan is gonna be the quicker fighter here with the movement and the footwork. And man, this is a tough one to pick though. But like I said, with women fights, it can get crazy, man. You know, it just can go anywhere. You pick Verna and Yan win, you pick Yan and Verna win. I feel like Yan can keep this fight long. He's gonna be a bigger cage and just pepper up Verna. You're gonna hit her with shots and move, quicker movement, and kind of stay off the cage and stay in the center and avoid the takedowns. She may get takedown, but I feel she probably will get back to her foot without getting submitted. But you know, it's still a coin flip because Verna is very good on the ground and Yan been submitted. I'm gonna go with Yan on this one, guys. I'm gonna say Yan by decision, but I'm not confident in this one because Verna will look for the submission and she can get it. The odds here are probably gonna have Verna as favorite. I mean, I just feel like Yan, from what I see from her last fight, even against Richie, even though Richie is maybe not a good gauge, I feel like with the quick twitch muscles, the movement, the bigger cage, I think she'll be able to can keep this fight on the outside and kind of touch up Verna a little bit there and score for points. Looking here, Verna is 148, so they got obviously the favor of Verna because of submission. 14 by submissions. Yan been submitted. Yan can get taken down, but she's been improving though on that though. And again, you know, we talk about, you know, like Verna here, or Yan, we should say. Yan fought championship, was champion, I believe. You know, fought tough competition. Verna also fought some tough competition too. I mean, they both experience. Yeah, they both experience. Lost Mackenzie Dern. I just feel that, I don't know, I just have this feeling that Yan is going to win. It's just the movement at the time and precision. You know, I feel like Verna is may have a little trouble here taking down Yan and holding her down. I mean, that's my opinion. I could be wrong. But I'm going to go Yan by decision, guys. I'm not confident. Alright, next fight we got Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. This is the next crazy fight here, man. We got Ige here, who's super well-rounded, very skilled guy. Puts a high pace on you. He will back you up against the cage, kind of break you down. We look for the knockout. He's heavy-handed. We'll also look for the submission. He's good on the ground, experience, and he got a dog in him, man. Woodson, on the other hand, Woodson more boxing, which he's pretty good with it. He's rangy. He's staying on the outside, very technical. He's going to have a 7-inch of height and 7-inch of reach, which is freaking massive, dude. Let me see here. Good takedown defense in this guy, but he can get taken down though. But he does have good takedown defense. Slow out the movement though. He's going to be a slower fighter here and can get backed up. So what I mean by that, even though he has that reach and that height, you can back him up because he's a slower fighter. Put him against a cage and just pepper him up the body, pepper him up, and maybe look for takedowns on him. But he is good on the outside, but he will also tag you in the center. If you come into close range, he will put your lights out like what he did to Fernando, right? But he's slow at the movement though. This is a tough one, man, to kind of gauge here because look at Woodson. Woodson, you know, beat Charles Jordan, you know, beat Yusuf Zalal, who's looking very, very good right now. You know what I mean? Yusuf Zalal is looking very, very good. And look on the win streak. In the UFC, he got 4, right? It's Dan Ige is like, you know, his competition. He has seen Woodson a lot. Maybe the height and reach could play a factor here because maybe the only guy that he fought with that much of a height and reach. especially in that weight class. You know, I mean, yeah, I don't think anybody has that weight, that reach and height. I mean, let me see, maybe Damian Jackson, probably. Edson Barboza, no. 75-inch reach, maybe. Yeah, maybe Edson. Yeah, slightly Edson. Yeah, we're looking at Sean Woodson though. It has like a 77-inch reach, 78. So I don't think this is gonna be the first guy he fought with that much, but he's a slower fighter, and also the experience, man. Danny Gay just fought tough guys, man. Even though he lose to them, but he fight tough dudes, and some of the guys don't even put him out. He's never been finished. He's never been finished. So it's all decision with tough guys, bro. So he's seen Woodson, that kind of Woodson, you know, a lot. You know what I mean? So he has that experience, but maybe the reach and height could play a factor. But I'm a slide with Ige, man. I'm gonna give Ige a shot here. I just see things from Sean Woodson that, you know, some slight holes that I feel Ige should be able to can expose that. You know what I mean? Which it has been exposed already. So, but I'm gonna go with Ige. I'm gonna say Ige by decision, guys. But I'm not confident in that one. I feel there's a veteran dog experience, you know, in this particular fight. And I know the reach and height play a factor, but again, just talking about the experience and just seeing it before. He's seen Woodson so much time, other than the reach and height. They got Woodson at 170. You got Ige as underdog. You see what I'm saying? I'm liking Ige though, but I'm not confident in it because again, the reach and height could play a massive factor. And if, you know, Sean is not a bad boxer. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Sean. I mean, he's good, but yeah, just experience, guys. Sean Ige, Dan Ige, by decision, guys. All right, Sean Ige. All right, next fight here, guys. Sometimes these breakdowns, you know, can be kind of tough for you guys. You know, it's just sometimes hard to put a read on a lot of these fights. And when you think you got it, you don't. You know, the fight starts and turns out the other way. It goes the other direction. You know what I mean? So that is why I have that face-off, the face-off predictions that I do, that I post to my Patreon, because sometimes watching the fights, if the guy make weight, can make a big difference, especially when the guy doesn't make weight. You know what I mean? It tells a lot, especially if they come in way over the weight limit. You know, maybe they weren't exercising, maybe they were injured. And you can also see the build of the guy, you know, stand up to each other. You know, be like, damn, this guy is way over, the guy carry a lot of mass, he seems way bigger or thicker. But also, that's also based off the skills too. Because you're bigger, that doesn't mean you're going to win. You're fighting a guy that's skilled, you know what I'm saying? You may not be as skilled as a guy who's smaller. The guy that's smaller will win the fight, just based off skills and experience. Dan Ige decision. Next fight, we got Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. These are some good matchups, guys. Nikita here, karate Kyokushin, pretty skilled, especially on the ground. Been around for a long time, man. Hasn't fought since 2023. But this guy looks good in his last 3 fights, though. His last 3 fights, he looks very good. 16 by submission, 12 by knockout. This guy's a finisher, dude. This guy is a finisher. Tough fight for Reyes, in my opinion. Veteran, experience, been sub 6 times. But this guy, he can stand up and fight. His ground game is pretty top notch. Striking is high level. If you know the Kyokushin, you know, it's kind of similar to like kind of have a Muay Thai kind of kickboxing kind of vibe. They work the lower legs, work elbows, knees, they keep it tight. But the combinations are precise and technical, right? With pinpoint accuracy. So a guy like Nikita is a dangerous guy and very well rounded, more well rounded than I would say Reyes is, who came off of the 2-fight winning streak now. I mean, he's been looking better, but before then he was getting knocked out back to back, 3 times in a row. look good against Dustin Jacoby and then have a win over Anthony Smith, but Nikita's is just, I feel it's a different level here, man. With Reyes, though, his skill, you know, he fought tough competition and he lost. You know, he has ups and downs, 2-fight winning streak now. You know, with Reyes, he is hittable, man, and that's the thing, and he can get knocked out. Never been submitted, but he's hittable though, man. And fighting a guy like Nikita, this guy throws everything from different angles, from odd angles, cause it's unorthodox. That's, you know, the skill of the Kyokushin striker, or any martial arts, say like a Shotokan or Taekwondo. These guys are gonna come from all type of angles, especially when you're good at it. And I feel Nikita is very good at it, right? So been submitted 6 times, but 12 knockouts, 16 by submission, and fought top level guys, bro. Dominic fought top level guys too, but I feel with Dominic Reyes, he's been rushed. They rush him, even though he beat some guys. But against Volkanovski Azamir by split, he didn't win that fight. I felt Volkan beat him in that fight. Then he beat Chris Weidman. Then it shows now. You know, we start moving up more to tougher guys, then he can't win. So I feel like there's experience level and certain levels that's you can't rush. You gotta pace yourself. You gotta take your time. When you rush like that, then you're gonna get exposed, right? So beating like St. Pro, Jimmy Kimmel, you know, okay, he lost to Volkan, dude. He lost to Volkan. That was a sign. Chris Weidman is kind of washed, right? Then what happened afterwards? I feel that he is still not at that level, and I feel Nikita is on a different level, dude. So I'm going with Nikita by KO, not first round, guys. All right. Great look on the odds here. And like I said, I'm not disrespecting any of these guys. All over the end of the day, I'm just speaking how I see it. You know how I feel it. So again, I could be wrong, but you know, it is what it is. You know, you win some, you lose some, right? It is what it is. Just keep moving forward. But the most important thing, never give up, no matter what. So you versus you, man. Keep moving forward with whatever you're working on, and have a lot of things you're working on. Just don't work on one thing, guys. Work on several different things. Several, not two, several. All right, and keep moving forward and don't give up. Pace yourself. Nikita is 198. Okay, I don't disagree with that. I feel Nikita is the better fighter, but you never know. Reyes could come in here and clip him. It just happens. But I feel Nikita's weakness is, even though he's good with submissions, he can get submitted, but Reyes probably have one by submission. So yeah, it's 2 by submission. Hey, possibilities are there, but I feel Nikita is a better fighter, man. And if Dominic win, hats off to him. That means that he's improving and getting better, which is good, you know. But Nikita by KO in the first round, guys. Next fighter, we got Yair Rodriguez versus Patrício Pitbull. So we got Pitbull from Bellator, who was a champion over there. High level guy again, even though he's in Bellator, but this guy is a high level striker, grown, BJJ, all around good fighter. Yair Rodriguez is also a good fighter too. Yair Rodriguez more Taekwondo based, unorthodox, quick with the movement, can get wild at times and sloppy. With Rodriguez though, man, what I feel with Rodriguez, what I've seen this for a long time, is that he's explosive, and he can and you know he can lay you out with elbows and spinning heel kicks. You know, he's very unorthodox. It's hard to see the kicks coming and punches coming, but his ground game, you can still take him down. You can still put him in positions where you can sub him, and even though he will throw, you know, arm bars and triangles from off his back, because he will submit you also, but you can get him down though and kind of dog him out on the ground and just wrestle him around and stuff like that. Been knocked out 3 times, been submitted once, and his boxing, his hands are, he will throw punches, but it's mainly to set up his kicks, you know, but he doesn't have the hands like that. I feel Patrício Pitbull is better with the boxing. The kicking I gave to Yair, and the ground game I gave to Patrício. I mean, BJJ black belt, he will look for takedowns, right? With Rodriguez, he will look for submissions. Like I said, he loves the triangle choke from off his back, and he will throw it up and catch you, right? He loves the armbar also. So, you know, and the rear naked, you know, I mean, there's different type of submissions he will pull off on you, but he will end up flopping to his back, man, right? And fighting a guy like Pitbull, who is a super freaking veteran, can get flat-footed at times, but he will walk you down. BJJ and Muay Thai can get hurt in the foot, can get knocked down. So if Rodriguez catches him with a head kick or a spinning heel, he will get wobbled and cannot back up and try to compose himself. Right? I'm telling you, he won't just go out like that and get, you know, like a flash, like a, you know, like a just knockout, like a one-hitter quitter, which it can happen, because that happened to him when he fought Suzuki. So it's there where that explosiveness, which Yair in that first round is very freaking explosive. So your path to victory is in that first round. Just go all wild and crazy, which that's what he does. But then he gasses himself out though. So I say he has the first round to do what he needs to do. If he doesn't do anything in that first round and get him out, I can see Pitbull winning this fight. I mean, I feel Pitbull is just a more well-rounded fighter. I feel with Rodriguez, there's holes still there, especially with his boxing and his ground game. Even though he will submit you, but his will to defend the takedowns, and you can scramble on him. Then also his gas tank, he will gas out. He'll get tired after that first. It just doesn't look good. The guy explosive though, and in the first one he's a killer. But if he doesn't do it in that first one, he's gonna have problems. So I mean, and that's just what I see. And against a veteran, it's against just anybody else could be easy, but against a veteran is like, okay, a veteran is gonna be a little more tougher, right? So I'm liking Pitbull here. This is his debut to the UFC. So after coming off a win off of Jeremy Kennedy, which is a good win. With Yair Rodriguez, everybody had Yair beating Brian Ortega. Everybody had him beaten on Brian Ortega. I had Brian Ortega. Everybody's like, what? I'm telling you, Rodriguez is going to win. Like, no, he's not going to win, because if you look at Brian Ortega, he's a dog, and he will push a high pace and break you. And Yair Rodriguez will break under pressure, especially when he can't get his kicks off, because most of his path to victory is mostly with his kicks, mostly with his athleticism, which only carries so far. So he can push it into the second, and maybe you may see with the Korean Zombie where he got an up elbow, but he was losing the fight. You can call it a fluke, but he did to the up elbow. It happens, right? But or you can get a triangle choke from being his back, which Josh Emmett was winning the fight. You can just get a triangle choke. It happens, right? But again, it's like a toss up with a Yair. You toss it up. No, you kind of heads or tail him with him. Can you do it? But with Patrício Pitbull, that this guy here well rounded. He will let the hands on you. He would look for takedown. I'm telling you, his BJJ ground game is pretty good. He would keep a pace. He won't gas out like that. He's not gonna just go in there and just like try to go 100% because he knows he can't go the rest of the round. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with the Pitbull, like what I said. I'm gonna say Pitbull by KO TQ in that second round, guys. Quick look at the odds here. They got Yair Rodriguez at 192 at 200. Holy crap, bro. I disagree with that. Again, if he's able to keep a pace, keep that pace going and work from the outside and line kicks and just keep that steady pace going. But from Yair Rodriguez, he will tire out and he will gas out. So he's got the 5-inch height and 6-inch reach though, so that could play a factor in this fight. But I just feel Patrício Pitbull is just a more experienced and more skilled guy here. And if Patrício can close that distance, which he probably will, obviously you're gonna see him winning the fight. So and Rodriguez slows down, and that's the thing. He slows down, especially when he start doing a lot. which is going to have to do a lot against Pitbull. He can't just stay there and just don't do nothing. And he's not known for a person that paces himself. So it's chaotic in the second round. I mean, hey, we see what happened. I mean, dogs hit all the time, guys, you know. So I guess that's good for me. You know, it's not, especially on pay-per-view cards. We don't see cards coming in with all favorite winnings, right? So yeah, right, exactly. Sometimes you see 6, 7 dogs on a card. So, but I'm liking Pitbull for that one. Next fight, we got Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. Bryce Mitchell here. Well, the thing about this fight, Bryce Mitchell, I think he made a problem here. He made a mistake here. You know, he's fighting the Lord. He's fighting the Lord, man. He's fighting the Lord Silva. The Lord. So then who is going to win? I mean, you cannot beat the Lord, right? So most likely the Lord is going to win, right? With Bryce Mitchell here, though, man, the striking is so predictable, bro. Like 2 left feet. You know, he would look to wrestle, keep it dirty, you know, have a dog in him, heads high up. You know, he would run into strikes, especially counter strikes. He's infamous for running into counter strikes. You know, even when he fought Topuria, running into counter strikes. Josh Emmett running into a counter. You know what I mean? Was it a counter though? I think yeah, he's like running into counters, yeah. So the thing about it is that he's striking, his head don't move off center line. He doesn't move his feet, so his defense is a lot of work. But he's crafty and he will grind, but he's so hittable, dude. Doesn't make any sense. So fighting a guy like Silva, the Lord, this guy has improved. I watch some of his old fights too. You know, when I'm breaking on these fights, I go watch the old fights, especially the one they lose. Fight against this guy here, Gabriel Solup. Gabriel Solup, I felt like he won that fight. I don't know. I think that was a robbery. Pedro, he was kind of young. Probably was like 20 years old. But Silva, this guy, every single fight, he's improving. His ground defense, takedown defense is pretty good. Technical striking, very accurate, coming from fighting nerds. And we see how these guys work. Pinpoint. The only thing is that Bryce have the experience. You know, obviously, you know, Bryce can be the more experienced guy here. But Silva is a way skilled striker, dude. And he fought Drew Dober, who's a pretty experienced guy. He's Charles Jordan. He's finishing these guys, bro. Drew couldn't even, you know, he couldn't continue the fight because of all the scar tissue. His whole eyelid was coming off, I believe, in that fight. So this is a guy here that is dangerous with the counter striking. It's very technical, right? Beat this guy named Mel Zik, which Mel Zik is known for his kickboxing. Very skilled guy too. But he counter striking, which I call that fight too. The only way I see Bryce winning this fight, if he's able to can grind like a maniac, like chain wrestle, like crazy, just keep on going and just don't stop, like ankles, just hugging in the leg, hugging in the leg, dude, and pushing for takedowns consistently, grinding like a maniac, dude. That's the only way I can see him winning. Like once it gets open, which is gonna be open because the fight starts standing up, the chance of him getting knocked out is very likely, especially into a counter strike, dude. I mean, I'm just saying, man. I'm just keeping it real, and that's it. I mean, I watched the fights over and over again. I said, man, how can Bryce win this fight? This is gonna be his wrestling, but Gene Silva takedown defense is not bad, especially with those fast twitch muscles and his footwork, his movement. He's so quick with the movement. It's gonna be hard to hold him down or even get a takedown. And the fact when you're doing that, you're gonna run into a counter. Knee, elbow, straight punch, hooked into a straight. This guy is versatile, dude. And again, he's fighting the Lord. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I know Bryce called him the devil, but he got the Lord written right across his chest, dude. That's a sign. When you see a Lord written across your chest, And Bryce is like supposed to be, holy, and with his religion, and also his Christianity and everything like that, which, is what everyone do with your religion is great. There's nothing wrong with that. Bryce been up some good talks here and there. His certain concepts he may say, like a belief system. It's just a concept. It isn't. Some of it is, most of it is just man-made. I'm just speaking the truth. It's man-made, right? The truth lies within you, right? The truth's inside you, because what they do on the outside is all propaganda, and a lot of it is just make believe. To pull you left, right, and center. Keep your brainwashed. Keep you dumbed down. Keep you fighting among each other. Who is black and who is white and who's wrong and right, right? Black and white, who's wrong and right. You see? So Bryce do bring up some good talks here and there. Then some of his concepts he may say, but this fight here, man, on paper and just breaking down everything, I just don't see Bryce winning this at all, man. I go Gene Silva by KOTK in the first round. I was trying to find a way that Bryce may can pull this off, but this would have to be a submission too, and it can be a submission. He would have to, he possibly could jump to his back, which he does have some submission on him. He has 9 by submission, so he could jump to his back and get a rear naked choke. He does have a twister. He has a rear naked choke. So yeah, the submissions are there. If you can get to his back, hey man, anything is possible in this game, bro. I take anything over from Bryce Mitchell, and anything is possible. And it's possible he can get that, the rear naked choke, or if you can get down, the Lord Silva, if you could get him down, anything is possible. You can put up a submission, man. It's there. He has 9 by submission, and that's his path to victory. He's gonna be either he's wrestling, grinding, or most likely he's gonna be submission. So I would say his path to victory for Bryce Mitchell, more realistically speaking, it would be a combination of the wrestling, using to get down Silva to the ground, because he's definitely gonna have to get him down, or he could jump his back and just hug on him and then look for the submission. So that would be his path to victory, with his wrestling and using the submission, possibly a rear naked choke. So maybe Lord Silva slip on a banana peel. You just don't know. Again, with Thug Nasty, the guy, Bryce Mitchell is very experienced guy. He's gonna be more experienced than Gene Silva. Just being honest. Even though Gene Silva, he fought Judo Bor, he fought Melzik, he fought Charles Jordan, which are, these guys are good fighters, and then he finished them. So he's fighting Bryce Mitchell, but Bryce Mitchell fought tough competition, like Il Topuria, Josh Emmett, Danny Gay, Edson Barboza, Andre Fili. He fought some tough guys too. But I don't see no path to victory for him other than maybe a submission, if he's able to get it. Which he can. I'm not taking anything away from him. He can. And I said, I'm gonna look at this in a positive way. With these fights, anything is possible. At the end of the day, anything could happen. If the guy come in prepared and they train and they have the experience, then they can win, man. What I'm saying? Gene Silva is tough fighter. Movement is good, sharp, but he could have an off night. You just never know. Or Bryce, just because of the experience, he's just crafty and can just get him. But I go Silva by KOTK first round, and if Bryce Mitchell wins, it possibly will be a submission. All right. Next fight, we got Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. This is a co-main, but it's a 5-round fight now, guys. So let's keep that in mind now. Chandler is the next guy from Bellator, which Chandler was champion, and Pitbull took that champion from him. Chandler is the next guy that's pretty crafty, strong wrestling base, skill guy, experience. He will actually brawl, look for takedowns. He has more of a wrestling base, can get knocked out. Has taken a lot of damage though, especially in the UFC. He's been taking a lot of damage, for his little time there. Paddy, on the other hand, Paddy mostly pushes his wrestling. We look to grapple also, look for submissions. Will also swing the hands on you. You put the hands on you too. Striking can be predictable, but he's been getting better, and you can tell that his body has been filling out more now. You know, put on a little more muscle and stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, so he has been improving, especially with the striking. With Chandler though, like I said, you know, he took a lot of damage in the sport, man. Especially, you know, the fights that he has been having. A lot of those champion fights or championship fights he's been having, especially with Charles Oliveira, with Dustin Poirier, with Justin Gaethje. That fight was, you know, so it took a lot, even in Bellator too. You know, it took a lot of damage in those fights. But Paddy is, how can I say now? Paddy, oh man, there's still holes, man. Especially when he backs up, his chin is in the air. It's just. Striking is just it still need work, man. But his ground game is still good. You know, he will look for submissions. You know, put you in bad situation and look to finish you on the ground. Would also ground and pound you. You know, we throw some leg kicks here and there, but just well-rounded, wise, and you know, just experienced and well-rounded. I have to go with Michael Chandler, man. I feel this is a fight for Michael Chandler to win, guys. Again. Could be wrong on this one, but I'm liking Chandler on this one, man. The reach is not that much of a big difference. Most of the height, the reach is probably like a 2-inch by Paddy. You know, the height is probably like, I believe Chandler's like 5'8" or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Chandler here, guys. And with Paddy will guess out. Usually gasses out in, and also a big factor in this too, it's a 5-round fight, so keep this in mind. Paddy will slow down, man, and when he slows down, he will flop to his back. You do that with Michael Chandler, he's gonna ground and pound you. He's gonna ground and pound you, dude, and he usually gets tired in that second. Paddy has 4 or 5 rounds, I believe, right? He had 5-round fights, but I don't think it went. No, this is his first time fighting 5 rounds. No, shoot, it is. What? It's his first time fighting 5 rounds. Okay, he fought 5 rounds back in Cage Warriors against Julian Erosa, which he went to a decision. So he beat Julian Erosa. He fought. Okay, so he fought 5 rounds before, but. What he's been looking like though, even against like Tony Ferguson and these other guys, it look like he's been getting tired. Like off in the 3rd round, looking kind of tired. I'm gonna go with Michael Chandler, guys. I'm gonna say Michael Chandler by KO TQ in that 2nd round, but I'm not confident though, because Paddy is somewhere or another he finds a way to win. So yeah, Paddy here at 155, 170 as a favorite. Somewhere or another he finds a way to win. He goes to decision. They will freaking rob you. You know, his fight against when he fought who did he fight? The fight that was a complete robbery. When he fought Gerard Gordon by unanimous decision, that one was a big robbery in that one, dude. So, and against Tony Ferguson, he was kind of struggling a little bit in the 2nd, kind of 3rd round. I don't know, man. I go with Michael Chandler. I say Michael Chandler by KO TQ in the 2nd, guys. It's a 5-round fight, so keep that in mind. It changes everything. Next fight, we got Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Main fight here is a pretty good matchup, and this is for the vacant featherweight. Okay, the vacant featherweight, huh? 145. All right. It's vacant. Topuria. UFC Featherweight Championship. I guess there's a vacant. Okay. With Volkanovski, man, yeah, I mean, the guy's got a good fight IQ, smart fight IQ. He will find a way to win. He's very technical. Really, he lost to Islam Makhachev, which is not even his weight class. He went up and lost to him. Then when he lost by that head kick and hammer fist, he went and fought Ilia Topuria. you know, and then he got caught with a right hook. So it's like maybe the knockout in that fight against Islam caused that in a kind of way. He didn't really take a good enough rest, a good enough break, kind of drop right back into it. So really, you know, he losing to Islam, you know, really, and then he got the finish too. He lost to Topuria, but and before then he wasn't losing to nobody. The guy was undefeated, and Islam Makhachev is like a good fighter, right? Very good fighter, right? Yeah, with Lopes in this fight gonna have a 5-inch of height, which is kind of similar. This guy is pretty well rounded though, man. He has the striking, he has the jits, he will look for the submission. Very explosive. This guy will explode, but then he gets tired though. And you can see him kind of gassing out in the second into third round. This is a 5-round fight. Diego Lopes has never fought 5 rounds. I did actually check that out. He never fought 5 rounds before, so it's his first time, and can get knocked out. But this guy's a finisher. 10 by knockout, 12 by submissions. But in some fights I've seen, and he looks tired in some fights. You know, against Dan Ige was getting tired. Brandon Ortega was kind of getting tired too. Lost to Movsar Evloev, which Movsar Evloev is a tough fighter. The guy's undefeated. You know, lost to Joanderson Brito in the Contender Series. A lot of people, you know, they keep forgetting that. You know, they keep forgetting, man. They keep forgetting. They keep forgetting, man. They keep forgetting. So yeah, do I feel Diego Lopes is ready for this matchup? To be honest with you, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, you can give him a shot to see, but I like in Alexander Volkanovski though. I feel Volkanovski's gonna come back in this one, and he's gonna get a finish. I must say Volkanovski by KO in the third round, guys. I just feel like experience from Volkanovski, man, and he hasn't really been losing to like just anybody, dude. Islam Makhachev, which is not even his weight class. Then he got knocked out against Islam. Then he went to Poirier right afterwards. You know, so you know, it's one of those things where you can look at it as maybe, you know, the knockout. You know, sometimes you get knocked out like that. Sometimes you take a little break, take a long break actually. So, but I'm going with Volkanovski. I must say Volkanovski by KO in that third round, guys. But Lopes is still a dangerous guy though. Very aggressive, very straightforward. We look for any way to win, submissions or by knockout. But he will tire out though. And this is his first time. Volkanovski at 130, kind of close to even fight. So they see what I see. Like I said, with Diego Lopes, he has never fought 5 rounds before. The thing about Volkanovski, he's a smart fighter. He's a very smart fighter, man. Especially when he's prepared. You know, you'll see, yeah, this guy's never fought 5 rounds before. And you can see that with Lopes, he's a finisher. So the guy's a sprinter. Volkanovski will pace himself. You know what I mean? Last against Ilia Topuria was in February. He's coming back in April, so that's a good amount of time. That's a good amount of break for him to get his mind right. You know, kind of make the brain rest, to make the brain rest. You know, the guys understand when you get knocked out like that. You know, sometimes it's going back into our next fight right after you get knocked out again, because your brain is like, your brain is a computer. You know, and it controls everything that runs down the spine, and it triggers everything. You know, once you keep getting hit in the head like that, that's why I say you do the hit and avoid getting hit. Once you keep getting hit like that, you're doing damage to yourself. You're doing damage to your organs. You're doing damage to your memory. You're doing damage to your reaction time. You know, because all that holds a memory. All that holds consciousness. Oh man, that's why you don't want to get hit in the head, dudes. You want to avoid that. Getting hit in the head is not cool, man. That's why you got a skull there to protect the brain. A tough skull to protect the brain from any. You know, you might bang your head or something, but to get punched and kicked to the face, like consistently, of course it does damage to you. And usually when you get hit like that, that's the memory, especially when you get knocked out. That's the last memory of you getting knocked out. You know, you go back into the other fight real fast, you get touched again, that's the memory you have. Memory of is you getting knocked out, boom, you flash knockout again. Because you didn't give yourself a rest. You didn't make the brain rest. You didn't make the body rest to kind of heal up. You can heal up the brain in a kind of way, the scar tissues and stuff like that, but it still does damage though, man. So, but that's it right there, guys. That's my breakdown predictions there, guys. So I'm liking Volkanovski for that one by KO TKO in the 3rd round. And that's about it right there, guys. One love out to everybody. You guys keep on kicking. Don't forget to check out the Patreon account. I will leave the predictions of the face-up predictions on there. And that's it, guys. Boss.